Okay, fine. Well, I mean, have you received my presentation on your screens? Does it show there?
Yes.
Okay, nice. Good. Fine. Okay. Okay, fine. All right. So today, based on what we have said in the last lecture, I mean, in a kind of linguistically conceptual, framework of language and its inner workings, its dynamics, be it in its written or spoken form. Today, we moved up on a little bit about the nature of spoken discourse in more details, and again in relation to what we have, done before. And after that, we moved to talk about conversational analysis, and today is in its basic, essential, details that you must know, things that you must know and take home with you clearly in mind. So we started with the nature of spoken discourse. As we said before, spoken discourse, takes the nature of speaking. Yeah, that's it. A spoken discourse, whatever the discourse can be, long, short, formal, informal, friendly, unfriendly, I don't know, whatever form of it. It takes the very nature of speaking. And speaking tends to be first transient. So we talk here about the transiency of speaking. Transient, you can understand it in these two terms. Time bound. Okay. It's bound with time. Why? Dynamic. Because not only language, but also the body, all the body is involved, beside the context. Exactly as we have said before, with holiday and others. So time, it is time bound, dynamic, that is like when you have face-to-face, conversations, or over the phone conversations, etc. And these are these main characteristics you have to bear in mind. Time boundness and dynamicity of speaking. It's taken over by this spoken discourse. Yes. So that tells us what we call the transiency of spoken discourse of speaking in general. It is also meant to be interactive, okay, or close. Okay. Why? Because it does involve feedback. Okay, feedback. Immediate feedback. And of course, physically, contextually, immediate feedback. Yes, especially when you are in a face-to-face, conversation. So it does involve feedback. Okay, and the idea of immediate feedback, the immediacy of feedback. This is another concept. The immediacy of feedback. Of course, when we say immediacy, we don't mean on the very spur of the moment. But we mean, of course, when you have two speaking, okay, when one is speaking, the other is listening. The listener, of course, can, give his feedback. It may take him some few seconds, or maybe, I don't know how long the pause maybe it's not to give his feedback. So immediately that doesn't mean just on the very moment of the turn the listener, has to give the response. But immediacy means this idea of the presence of both the speaker and the listener in one place, okay, face to face, talking about something. So we have transiency, and immediacy. Okay. Okay. So immediacy of feedback and back channels, what we call back channels. That is those mediums or channels, okay, that the speaker and the listener uses to, carry out, if you want to say, a kind of reciprocal or mutual talk. Of course, this kind of feedback it takes the form of spoken, and also it takes of body. When you have the involvement of facial expressions and body language, or what we call paralanguage, or the paralinguistic aspect, the paralinguistic aspect of discourse or of spoken discourse. So here you have the transiency in terms of time boundedness, in terms of dynamicity, and you have the interactivity or the interactiveness, okay, of communication in a spoken discourse, which involves feedback, back channels with their immediacy, okay, using language and paralanguage, or the linguistic system and the paralinguistic system. These are the concepts that we've got to know and to use when we do some discourse analysis. Okay, transiency, immediacy, the linguistic system, or linguistics, or the linguistic and the paralinguistic, and so on. Feedback, back channels. The third, main characteristic of spoken discourse is it is supposed, or it is assumed to be phatic. Phatic, P-H-A-T-I-C, phatic. Phatic, it means very simply suitable for establishing and maintaining social relationships. Yeah. So the way we speak as human, as human beings and as speaking species, okay, we are very phatic in our communication. Phatic. And of course, when we say phatic, again, it is culture bound. Some cultures are more phatic than others. Like some individuals are more phatic than others. So by phatic, very simply, we try, when we speak, when we communicate, when we initiate discourse, we not only speak, we also initiate relationships. We establish relationships and we maintain them. And that's what it takes to, what it makes of communication, okay? If we take it back, we take communication to its very etymological roots, communis, as in Latin, communis. And by communis, we mean this ability, or linguistic ability, or communication ability that holds us together, okay, or that forms and establishes, okay, or founds, okay, and strengthens the ties and the bonds between people through speech. So speech or communication or spoken discourse is one of the bridges or the main tools that help people, get together or hold people together. Yeah, that's what I mean by phatic. So establishing and maintaining relationships, especially social relationships between the speakers, the individuals in a given community or in a given society. So it is supposed to be transient, spoken discourse, transient, interactive or close, and phatic. More, it is supposed to be spontaneous and fast to some extent. That is the spontaneity of speaking. Okay, we talked about the immediacy, and also we have spontaneity. They are a little bit different, immediate and spontaneous. Okay, so spontaneous is, the idea of lack of planning or very deliberate, okay, well beforehand, planning for speech. So it makes planning quite difficult. Yeah, because we are talking face to face, like now, for example. Okay, I'm trying my best to keep coherent and cohesive and relevant and consistent in my talk to you, because it is spoken, not written. If it is written, okay, it's already finalized. Then I would just send it written. Then I should have taken enough time to do the editing and the planning and the brainstorming or whatever, drafting and so on and so forth. But it is spontaneous, and this is given to spoken discourse as a feature. More, it is informal mostly. Of course, not always informal, but it's supposed to be informal, especially because as speech is usually employed to or used to convey less important messages as compared to writing. This is an assumption. It's not. It's not a truth. Or a fact that is timeless or true for forever. Of course, we can have formal spoken discourse, like say formal speeches, for example, like I don't know, political or literary or I don't know, speech that you write beforehand and then you come and you present to people. So the idea of informality, it means that speech is usually used to convey less important messages. Yeah. Of course, sometimes we can convey very important messages, of course, using spoken discourse. But this, I say, don't take it as a truth or a general truth. That is timeless. No? Yeah. But spoken discourse remains, okay, very much characterized by the sense of informality or communicational informality or conversational informality. Yes, especially when the talk or the speaking is done by, say, intimate people or friends or family members or people who know each other, so on and so forth. Today, like now, I'm trying my best to be academic, linguistically academic, discursively academic, because I am delivering a lecture on discourse analysis. So most of my language right now, it's discourse analysis jargon based, if you want to say. Okay. I can give examples from informal examples, okay, to explain this. Though now, of course, my lecture is spoken, yeah, but it is not very informal. It is kind of formal because I'm using academic words and academic tools of speech. So speaking or spoken discourse is known or can be covered by transiency, by interactiveness or interactivity, by fatigueness, okay, faticity, okay, by spontaneity, and by informality. Okay, are you with me?
Yes, Professor.
Yes, Professor.
Yes,
Okay.
Professor.
So if you have to make some analysis of any stretch of spoken discourse, long or short, whatever, you have to be in mind these levels. Suppose you are given a short dialogue, okay, to analyze, say, just between two people, okay, a speaker and a listener, person one, person two, which is, easiest form, okay, and a spoken discourse of, say, a dialogue of half a minute, yeah, enough, half a minute, because if 1 minute, 2 minutes, and it's a class that you have, it's a long, it becomes a long dialogue. So half a minute, 30 seconds dialogue. So you have to be aware of these levels: transiency, interactiveness, fatigueness, authenticity, spontaneity, and informality. Okay. Okay. Fine. Okay. Fine. So this is just it's not always the case. Like informality. Okay. These characteristics are not. As I said, let's say, truth to be taken as always, yeah, or eternal, okay, permanent truths. Yeah. Of course, we have different cases. Okay. So, but it is the case. It is not. Yeah. For example, we have, let's say, institutional speeches. Yeah. Are often planned and rehearsed, hence not spontaneous. Okay, or not interactive. Okay, because delivered by one person, meaning. Okay. So this idea of spontaneity or informality or interactivity, of course, it is not always the case. There, because when we talk about some speeches, the spoken discourse, but like institutional speeches, political, whatever kind of speeches, they have different, say, characteristics. So you cannot talk about them as spontaneous, informal, and so on and so forth. But rather, they have to be planned, to be rehearsed, they have to be, say, kind of well edited, and so on and so forth. Fine. And here actually of register, I mean, their register, I mean, or type of language used tends to be formal. So here, when we have a speech, it is spoken discourse, but one of its characteristics is the idea of formality. Yes, yeah. So you have to distinguish between, say, spontaneous, naturally occurring, as I said before, I mean, discourse, and this, I mean, say, planned or I mean, it is beforehand, I mean, discourse. So this distinction should be clear in your mind. If you are given an example, a small example, so for example, say, you have to say, is it a formal one or an informal one? Is it an institutional speech, or it is a, say, naturally or natural, I mean, face-to-face, daily, say, conversation between, I don't know, say, intimate people. Yeah, why? Because these levels of transiency, interactiveness, and of spontaneity, formality, I mean, are counts. Because when you analyze on this level, yeah. So if informal, how informal, if spontaneous, how spontaneous, if immediate, how immediate, if interactive, how interactive as possible, as we'll give examples on. Is that clear?
Yes, Professor. Yes.
Yes, Professor.
Okay.
Yes, it's clear, Professor.
Okay, fine. So, to make it clearer for you, I love this quote from Crystal, one of the famous names in the field of discourse analysis. She kind of tries to describe the nature of spoken discourse, but as it is between what we have as a stereotypical image about discourse and as it is in reality. So she says, when we investigate how dialogues actually work, any dialogue, human dialogues, when we try to investigate how it did really work, actually work, we are often in for a surprise. Why? Because the stereotype is that people speak in complete sentences. This is the stereotype. Taking well-defined turns, okay? Carefully listening to each other and producing balanced amounts of speech. This is the ideal or the specific image that we have. When someone speaks, okay, they use complete sentences, like when they write, okay. They take well-defined turns. They wait for their turns, okay. When it's due, then they speak. They don't interrupt others, okay. And they carefully listening to each other, which is not the case actually, and producing balanced amounts of a balanced amount of speech. This is the stereotype, the ideal image that we may have in our minds. But the reality is that people often, not always, often, okay, share in the sentences they produce, okay, interrupt each other, okay, do not pay attention to everything that is said, and produce a discourse where the contributions of the participants are wildly asymmetrical, not symmetrical, not parallel, okay, asymmetrical, okay. Yet all of this produces a kind of perfectly normal, successful conversation. See the idea? When we speak as humans, we often, of course, share in the sentences, okay, they produce. We interrupt each other quite often. I mean, in the middle of a sentence, okay, you find a friend or you will, jump in and then talking, seeing what he or she has to say, even if you haven't finished your sentence yet. And often we don't pay enough attention, okay, to what is being said, actually, or to everything that is being said. This is one. This actually some. These are actual. Characteristics of, if you were to say, spoken discourse when it takes the form of a dialogue or conversation. Okay. And therefore, we try to produce a discourse where the contributions of the participants, okay, are wildly, asymmetrical. This asymmetrical production of discourse for Crystal and others is what it makes, what makes discourse analysis spoken discourse or dialogue looks perfectly normal and successful, I want to say. You just imagine a situation, any one of you, talking, I don't know, to different people about something in some way, and at school, or maybe, I don't know, in a coffee shop, whatever, or a street, or in the market, or anywhere, talking like a group of friends. Of course, we don't wait for every one of us to finish what she has to say, full stop, then okay, we give the floor to the second to speak. When he is through, then the third. We try sometimes to speak at the same time, okay, interrupting each other, commenting on each other without paying attention to each other, and without fully, receiving the whole message sometimes. And that makes, conversation analysis, conversations as normal, humanly normal. This happens to most people, all over the globe. So these are the characteristics of spoken discourse in reality, and this in, if you want to say, the stereotypical or the ideal image that we have about spoken discourse. That is the idea, behind this quote from Crystal. And I think it applies so much, to our, to the reality of our, speech. Especially, speech is culture bound, yeah. So especially in cultures, okay, which are collectivist, yeah. If we take some anthropological analysis in here, so we're talking about the collectivism and individualism as two pictures of the cultural systems that we have in the world. Some are collectivists more than others, some are individualists than others. So, if you say, African, Moroccan, Arab, cultures are supposed to be more, or Islamic cultures are supposed to be more collectivist, okay? That we kind of give more importance to the group than to the individual, okay? So we are a kind of group-centered cultural system, if you want to say, not an individual-centered cultural system. So this, individual-centered cultural systems, okay, maybe, their speech or spoken discourse or their speaking, say mechanics or structure is maybe more kind of ideal, or respecting the sentence structure and the completion of the sentence and the term, and so on and so forth. But when you have this sense of the agrarian society, if you want to say, with no, of course, pejorative, intentions meant in here, the collective sense of our culture system and our value system, our communication system, it tends to kind of affect the structure and the streaming of the dialogues between, or communication, between people of this collectivist, cultures or communities. Is that clear?
Yes, Professor.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So when I say, this one, I think when anthropology actually is really of high use, really in understanding discourse, yeah, and communication. And I advise you, to at least to have some working knowledge about these kind of things, in anthropology. By Stewart Hall and T.E. Hall and Levi Strauss, and explaining the effects of culture on language and the effects of language on culture, and of course the effects of this on communication and on spoken discourse by implication. Yes, yeah. If you take the Japanese example and Moroccan example, you find very big differences, yeah, and very actually significant, differences in the way we manage and lead or carry, discourse or spoken or speak or communicate. And of course, this counts a lot in the analysis. Especially in terms of, be it language, words, okay, and on the order of words and the selection of words, okay, and the use of words and the paralinguistic, aspects, especially in terms of the tone. Okay, or intonation, or the accent, or stress, or the pitch. All these counts. Yeah. And we have actually people, who are specialized in this. There are lots of softwares, okay, that they use to analyze, these kind of things. The difference in tone, the difference in intonation, difference in stress, and the significances of these differences. Yes. We do this actually a kind of unconsciously. When you talk to someone, and suppose you have a close friend who comes to you, you meet every day and you talk. So you know him and he knows you, okay? And you know when he speaks, when he is happy, okay? And when he is not. So just from his tone, maybe from his facial expressions. So when you hear him, even you may not see him, but you hear him talking, you can say from his tone that the guy is being happy or being sad, or maybe has got problems, or you can feel the emotional and the psychological state of that moment where your friend is talking, for example. So the tone and the intonation curve actually changes, okay? And this change, okay, either if it rises up or it is down, or it goes down, okay, plummets down, then it signifies some meanings. These meanings are not spoken in words, but they are understood from the tone, the intonation, the stress, the pitch, and so on and so forth. It's what we call the paralinguistic aspects. So all this should be borne in mind, actually, while talking about discourse, spoken discourse, and doing spoken discourse analysis. I may give you an example, actually, just if I don't know, possible, actually. Can you see this graph in here? Yeah.
Yes, Professor.
Okay. So this graph of frequency readings taken every 1/10 of a second. 1/10 of a second, not a second, 1/10 of a second. Okay, and you have them actually on the curve, the vertical part and the horizontal part. It's calculated in what we call semitones, and individual how it rises and then kind of flattens and then goes down. And the same one, how it rises, flattens, and then goes very down. So in every 10th of a second, you have actually from 0 to 18, okay? And how do we come in this? Two people speaking. We have C1 is the answer, okay? And we have M1, the moderator and the caller. This is the, I think, yeah, here is the dialogue that happened. This dialogue, you have it in front of your eyes now?
Yes, Professor.
Okay.
Yes, Professor.
That's a very short dialogue. It's a radio phone in program, a radio station having a program show where people call in, okay, for different things, okay, for it to give their opinions or something. So it's a phone in program in Manchester where listeners call in with answers to a riddle. Like you have a riddle, okay. You have a puzzle, whatever. Then you have to give your answer, and if you give that answer, you win something. So you have M and C. M is the moderator of the program, مقدم البرنامج, the moderator, okay, and C is the caller, the one who called in, okay, to give the riddle. Okay, so you have like 1, 2, 3, 6 exchanges. M, more there is speaking. It is complete, though it seems it isn't. What do you reckon? The caller says, well, I think I've got this, and I got it as you were reading it out. Is the answer whole? Whole? And this whole have like 0.6 of a second. Okay? So, is the answer whole? But the answer here, yes, no, or. So, the caller, didn't, of course, give the right answer. So, this very dialogue, which is, I don't know, kind of 10th of a second or so, kind of very, very short, I will have this to go to the You have it in this graph. I mean, explaining the tone, okay, and the rise of the tone and the significances, okay. So if you have the analysis of these fundamental frequency readings. So in order to normalize the readings and thus make different individual voices comparable, the Hertzian values or the Hertz values have been expressed here semitones, not even the semitones, okay, above the lowest pitch, okay, which each speaker is accustomed to use. Okay, so seen this way, it is quite obvious, okay, that the moderator is speaking. The moderator, we understand from that very short dialogue and its graph. The moderator, that is the radio program show moderator, مقدم برنامج, is speaking at approximately the same height in his voice range as the caller is speaking in her voice range. That's why we have this, almost the same. You see, we have a rise, then kind of flat, then a soaring down of the tone. This is for the color. I mean, the first. I mean, graph. Don't say part of the graph is the colors. I mean, tone or semitone. And the second one is that of the moderator. If you say it's clearly on. So we have people have gone this far actually and more. I mean, in analyzing spoken discourse. Okay. In semitones and in tenths of seconds and so on and so forth to study and investigate the pitch, okay, movement, okay, of the tone of a speaker, okay, and that movement, okay, and that development of the movement of the speech of the pitch. I mean, it signifies. I mean, suppose if we have a rise, a very high tone, and a low tone. That means the one who has a high tone, like he is being condescending or kind of arrogant or kind of giving orders or so on and so forth, commandeering and so on. And the low tone signifies the opposite. But in this example, we have like almost the same level, the same degree. So I better not. We can get back to this maybe. I mean, some other time. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, it is clear, sir.
Okay. So I give the example to show to you. I mean, to what extent, I mean, discourse analysis or analysts, I mean, have how far they have gone in analysis. And I said, I mean, actually, we did this by ourselves. I mean, sometimes if you have a very close friend and you are accustomed, I mean, you got used to that he always, when he talks to you, he talks kind of friendly, nicely, kind of blah, 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 blah. But when sometimes comes, I mean, maybe he hears something bad, I mean, about you, whatever, and then he changes his tone. As soon as he or she changes the tone, you feel it. And you analyze it. And you understand that, the guy, something wrong has happened, to friend X or friend Y, and so on and so forth. So from from the pitch itself, and so on and so forth. This, I mean, unsystematic or kind of say natural analysis we make on a daily basis. I mean, spoken discourse analysis. I mean, does it in a systematic, scientific way, as I have just shown. So, for more, I mean, about analyzing spoken discourse, we can consider some examples now. Okay, let us now consider the language of spoken discourse. I mean, blah 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 blah. So, what appear to be the distinctive features of speech? Okay, we have to now move to more features. Okay, that define spoken discourse. Okay, spoken. I mean, the first one is called fragmentation. Fragmentation, the verb to fragment, okay? To put things into fragments. Fragmentation. So we tend to speak in short stretches. This is we call utterances, okay? utterances may be, but frequently are not, okay, accurate or complete sentences. Yeah. So, okay. We don't, always provide this full sentence structure, complete sentence structure, whatever the type of the sentence can be. In fact, many utterances are comprised of incomplete, fragmented, okay, segments. Okay. Fragmented segments. Boundaries are often unclear. Yes. We cannot set clear, demarcation lines or boundaries between these fragments. And also due to overlaps, okay, between participants. As I just said earlier, actually, when you have 3 or 4 people, friends talking to each other, just for people talking, about something somewhere, of course, this happens. The idea of fragmented segments, okay, going on. So fragmentation is a dominant, an essential feature of spoken discourse. And when we say fragmentation, we see overlap. And I will come back to the overlap later on when we talk about conversational analysis in more details. The second point is non-fluency. Non-fluency. Yeah, we have fluency and we have the opposite, non-fluency. This non-fluency, especially means the idea of unfilled, what we call. This is a concept in discourse analysis. Unfilled pauses. Silent is the simple normal with silence, because an unfilled, because actually speech, it can be defined as a continuation of pauses. But these pauses, they are either filled with words or unfilled. Yes. So we have, when they are filled, of course, that is, words are being spoken, and therefore messages are being cast to people, sent to people. When they are unfilled, that means silence. There's silence. So we have unfilled pauses and filled pauses. Okay. And we have what we call the fillers. Okay, like as we have seen in the previous example. Like, and so on and so forth. So these are fillers. Okay. We have, besides this, we have repetition that happens. We have rephrasing something, and then we feel like we have to say it again in different words. Then we rephrase it. Okay. And we have response tokens. They are token signs or symbols of repetition, rephrasing, and response. These we call them minimal or abortive commands. Okay. Besides, we have hesitation and we have false starts. Yes. This is what we mean by non-fluency. Yes. Non-fluency. Unfilled pauses. Okay. Repetition, rephrasing, some kind of response to something, response, some hesitation while speaking, some false start, that you start saying something, but you realize that you've made a false start, that you have to restart again your speech. Maybe you said something wrong. Maybe you said it in a wrong way, and so on and so forth. So the false starts. All this mark what we call non-fluency in spoken discourse. So we have fragmentation and we have non-fluency. Is that clear?
Yes, Professor.
Okay. Fine. More. So when we talk about spoken discourse, how to analyze spoken discourse, we have to focus also on these elements that we call ellipsis, fronting or tails, and deixis. Ellipsis, fronting or tails, and deixis. When we get to the pragmatic part, we'll talk about, of course, deixis in more details and ellipsis in more details. Okay. But here, you have to take it. This at least in this kind of, say, on the run, okay, or on the go. Definition and use of these three things. By ellipsis, of course, it means the omission of words, both grammatical and lexical. Yes. For example, say, can you call him? Will do. So you have someone asking them, can you call him? So the listener says, will do. Usually, if you ask someone, can you call him? Would say, yes, I can, or I will, or no, I can't, for example. If you can't, no, I can't. But will do is like, yes, I can, I will call him. So the I is omitted there. And like the answer is not relevant to the question. Can you call him? To me, at the first you have to say yes, or if yes, yes, if no, no, and after if yes, then I will do, or I will call him, or will do. If no, no, I will not, right? Or I cannot, and maybe you can give the reason why you cannot, and so on. So here we have some grammatical and lexical omission, ellipse. Yeah. You have to be aware of this. Suppose you are given this exam, you are given this example in the exam. Okay, you have person 1 saying, "Can you call him?" And you have person 2 saying, "Will do." And then you say, the question is analyze this dialogue, this very short dialogue. Okay, in terms of ellipsis, for example, okay. Ellipsis and deixis, for example. Then you have to talk about the idea of the omission of grammatical and lexical words, maybe. Yeah. By front or tails, for example, say, Mike, he's so nice. Person 1 says, Mike, he's so nice. Okay? And person 2 says, great place, Ram. So what is the relationship between Mike, he's so nice, and great place, Ram? We have Mike and we have room. We have a nice Mike and we have a great room. So what is the relation between Mike and Rome in here? So here you have the idea of fronting. We have fronted, if you want to say Mike, fronting, like the idea of topicalization. You make of Mike as the most important topic of your sentence or of your speech, and you say Mike first, and then a comma, and then say he's so nice. Okay, right? And then you have great place, and you have Rome. So Rome here is tail, like in the tail of the end of the sentence. Like you start with the description of the place first, and then you give us the name of the place, rather than first the fronting. You give us the name of the person, and then the description, who is. What kind of person he is. If you want to know the difference, maybe Mike, okay, has invited someone to I don't know, to Rome, and then he is nice because he invited them. I mean, maybe to this great place, and then you can make the link. Then here you have a lot of lexical and even grammatical ellipses. But here just idea of fronting and tails. You front something when you position it in the beginning of your speech, and you follow it by a comma, and then you give the description. By tails, or tail is the opposite. You say what you want to say, use a comma, and then you come with you give the name of the place or the person responsible. Yeah. Okay. Are you following?
Yes, Professor.
Yes.
For deixis, it denotes words whose meaning is only clear in relation to the specific context in which the conversation takes place or is taking place. I said I will come back to this, of course, in more details later on, maybe in next lectures, inshallah. So, for example, put this over there. So deixis actually concerns these pronouns. This, the pronoun this, and there. Okay. Place pronoun. Okay. There, over there. So this, what is this? Is it a book? Is it a knife? Is it a book? Is it, I don't know, a laptop? Is it a whatever? Here you have to be in the context, the place where this speech takes place. So what does this refers to in the context? A book, a copybook, a pen, I don't know, whatever. Okay, and over there, where exactly? I mean, over the desk, I don't know, maybe near the kitchen, or I don't know, around the corner, where exactly? So we use this and there, but we believe that the listener, okay, knows what do we mean by this and what do we mean by that, so that he can execute the order. So example, like I told her. Okay, I told her. Who is this her? Your mom, your sister, no, your wife, your student, girl student. Who is he? Your dad, your grandmother. Who is she? Exactly. So I told her, meaning the speaker of this I told her knows the lesson that he knows which her he is talking about. Same for see you tomorrow. Okay, see you tomorrow. Of course, you know the person, you know the place, I mean, where you're going to see this guy tomorrow, and the time. I mean, even tomorrow, same place. So I say that these are just on the go. But these are all levels of analysis in spoken discourse analysis. Actually, also we use them even in written course. The of ellipsis, of substitution, of fronting, of deixis. Also, they are involved in the analysis of written discourse, not only spoken discourse. Now, since we are talking about, we'll give this kind of few examples in a kind of, say, simple manner so that you can have some idea about them at this level of our lecture. Okay. Well, I mean, are you following?
Yes, Professor.
Yes, sir.
Right. So, more levels of spoken discourse, we can also call them vague language and lexical creativity. Yeah, depends, because when we speak, we use different forms of language. Vague language, I don't know. For example, we have sometimes some vague expressions. For example, we should go there or something. Okay, so we should go there or something. There, where, and or something means what exactly? It refers to what exactly in the real context of things as a spoken discourse. Okay, we go there, we should there or something. So that something is a big expression that we don't know what it does refer to. Then you have the interference of context, okay, and other ingredients of the context, okay. You have to know the person who speaks in this way and why he speaks in this way, what does he mean by something usually, and so on and so forth. So these various expressions, if you face them in some kind of spoken discourse analysis, then again you have to it's a vague expression, and then you have to work on their, say, you can use pragmatics or tools to explain or to analyze them. We'll talk when we get there to pragmatics. We'll talk about the idea of lectionary, and perlectionary and illusionary, level of analysis, and then you will know how to use this to analyze things like this, like or in other expression, be it vague or not almost vague. But this just to draw your attention that our spoken discourses or conversations are full of these things, and they happen when we speak. So we have to be aware of how first to locate them, to determine them, and then second how to deal with them in terms of analysis. Also, what's called invented or nonsense expressions. Yeah, it happens. Things that are nonsensical. Yeah. We use them, that even they mean almost nothing. But this, what we call nonsensical, expressions, that is nonsense expressions, actually expressions. Of course, if you, again, put them in their context, okay, and you refer them to their initiator, the speaker who said them, fine, then you can come up with, some semantic, analysis or, understanding of these nonsense expressions. Yeah. We have also obscenity, and also we use obscene words, okay, foul, and also then that if you are given, say, a dialogue, for example, where you have some obscene words that that you reuse in English or in Arabic or in Moroccan Arabic, whatever, in Darija, whatever. Of course, they have their own significance, especially the contextual significance. Then you have to also to consider them. Yeah. More talk about prosody or paralanguage. Okay, but as I said just earlier, actually, it's just to recapitulate about the idea of paralinguistic aspect in spoken discourse and analyzing spoken discourse. So the main prosodic features are intonation, as I said, rising or falling, as I explained with that graph. You have a kind of rising, then flattening, then falling. Again with the color, rising, flattening, some of it, and then falling. And then we have rhythm, which depends on stresses, actually. People, it depends on what word you stress or the stress on. What did you say? Let's see, what did you say? Not like, what did you say? You stress it. So this what versus what did you say? So you stress the you. So what, like you have a different meaning than the you. Okay, you stress the what, like you heard something that's unpleasant to you. Okay, and you want the guy who said it to repeat it again, so that to make sure that he does mean it, so that you can, I don't know, maybe react to it in a given way, maybe violently, maybe I don't know what. Different from when you say, what did you say? That you stress the you, like you're targeting the listener, not the what, but the guy who said this what. Okay, yeah, what did you say? Like you're targeting, are you crazy? Are you serious? What are you saying? You. So it depends on the stress where you put it. Where you lay the stress on something. So that means something. If you are given again a kind of dialogue to analyze whatever, or and you see where the stress lies, okay, then you have to, of course, to focus on the stress, where the stress lies, and then you have to elicit the possible implications from that stress. So what did you say is different from what did you say, and so on. The pitch, as I just showed, actually louder or softer speech depends, and the pace, that is the speed, slow or fast speech. So these prosodic features are quite difficult to convey in writing. Yes, when you write them. So because when you write, sometimes when you read in a novel, okay, or in a book, maybe, or in a play or a script, and you find some italics, for example. Italics, italics, when you italicize words, where you write them in an oblique manner. You know that?
Yes, Professor.
So when we use italics, when we highlight some words, okay, when we sometimes fragment some letters word, when we use certain hyphens, and like one word we cut into two and use a hyphen, to mark a kind of pause or something. So we have to make reference to certain symbols, okay, like punctuation marks sometimes, or some other symbols, so that to say or to attract the attention of the reader, okay, that the writer wants the reader to pay attention to these words or these letters or these symbols. That when we italicize a word, of course, we want to say that this word, the meaning we want this word to give to the reader is not the dictionary, usual normal meaning, but it's a kind of different, or maybe another meaning, maybe a sarcastic meaning, maybe an ironical meaning, maybe a metaphorical meaning, depends on the context of the writing. So, but when we speak, the use of intonation, the use of the pitch, the use of the rhythm, of course, it helps us. So how we translate that into writing, we use different marks and symbols, but it is not really easy like when we speak. Okay. That's why spoken discourse has, as it's develops or has its own difference from written discourse. Is that clear?
Yes, Professor.
So please, don't forget about these levels and characteristics and levels of analysis when it comes to spoken discourse. Fine. Now we move on to something quite new. Of course, we have talked about it before, but we have to now we talk about in its due details, and it is called CA, or conversational analysis, or conversation analysis. Very simply, how we can analyze a conversation. Yes, any kind of conversation that takes place between any kind of people, anywhere, anyhow, anytime. Yes, of course, we humans, our life is set about all those conversation that we, I don't know, make and carry out every day. Okay. So it's called CA, okay, or conversational analysis. Here you have to pay attention to some key points that you should learn to be able to tackle, to deal with. First, I will define in terms what is conversational analysis. Okay, what do we mean by CA? Okay. How it is defined? Okay, by its experts and specialists, by scholars. Okay, second point, talk about turn taking and turn allocation. Okay, these are all concepts: turn taking and turn allocation. Third, about insertion sequences. Insertion sequences. Fourth, agency pairs. Fifth, error and repair mechanism. Sixth, simultaneous speeches, or what we call overlap in speech, that I just hinted to earlier. Okay? Fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, Professor.
Okay, good. Thank you. Fine. Okay. Well, okay. Fine. That's one. So, the aim here is to first define the terms used in conversation analysis, identify or specify or show how conversationalists allocate and take turns in discourse, explain the terms insertion, sequence, and agency pairs, explain how errors are repaired in conversation, describe how simultaneous speech occurs and how it is managed. This is the aim of this. And these 5 aims should be clear in your mind, actually. Yeah. If you are asked about what we usually do when we carry out a conversation analysis, you have to mention these five levels, all of them. Yes. And of course with more details and examples. Okay, but these 5 are, you have to know this. Basically, when we do analyze a conversation, we do these 5 things. Okay. So what is conversational analysis? Yeah. What do we mean by conversational analysis? So CA, it is an approach to discourse analysis. An approach to discourse analysis. So it is a way or a method, okay, or that we use to investigate or to carry out discourse analysis. Or it's the perspective from which we look at and we will look at discourse analysis, which is primarily concerned with the study of talk in interaction. I mentioned before this concept, talk in interaction. That is the talk that takes place when we interact with each other. Talk in interaction. It is therefore a method of analysis. It is a method of analysis introduced first by Immanuel Shigloff, Harvey Sachs, and J. Jefferson in the early 70s. Yeah. But it has developed so much, exemplified before with that short dialogue with the graphs. Yeah. People are using a lot of audio-visual softwares, okay, highly developed ones, okay, that you install in your, highly powerful, PCs or laptops, okay, and that you kind of use in the analysis of any kind of conversation. Its key mission, the main mission of CA, okay, is first to describe how speakers, communicators, okay, conversationalists, those who converse with each other, okay, achieve what we call orderliness. Orderliness. Okay, that is the order of words. How words are kept in orderly, or how words are kept orderly. The adjective is orderly. The noun is orderliness. Yeah. In their interaction, okay, how much respectful are they in of the order of words, of sentences, of messages, and of terms, and so on and so forth. So orderliness, okay, interaction, and studying how interactions are structured in a sequential manner. Okay, so this is the idea. So the main mission of CA is to describe how communicators, speakers and listeners, okay, senders of messages and receivers of messages, people who are conversing, achieve orderliness. Okay. And by order, we don't mean the order of words in a sentence, but the order of the whole conversation. Yes. As messages, utterances, and as terms, as well as pitch, as para or prosodical features, the paralinguistic and the linguistic features. How are they ordered so that a conversation is meaningful? Okay. Okay, and study how interactions are structured in terms of a sequential manner, because a conversation, if it is no matter how long it is ordered in a kind of sequences. Okay, sequence 1, sequence 2, 3, until the conversation is over. So we call this sequential ordering, okay, of a conversation. You can watch a movie, for example. So a movie is ordered in frames and shots. First shots, and then ordered in frames. Okay, and these frames, they are, of course, you have the actors and you have the speech going on among these actors. Okay. So once a shot is finished, a frame is finished, then we move to the second frame, and so on and so forth till the end of the movie. So these frames, okay, they are sequenced, or they are ordered in sequences. Okay, scenes and sequences. How those scenes are ordered, okay, to provide us with what we call orderliness of the whole movie, if you want to say, or just a one sequence or two sequences of a movie. So human life is like a movie too. It's like a movie, okay, somewhat. So the way we speak in our daily life, okay, with people around us, how we achieve orderliness, CA can be used to study and to show us how orderliness and sequential ordering are achieved in conversation. So it does study any instance of a human talk, okay, any kind of discourse, okay, such as classroom discourse, doctor-patient interaction, courtroom discourse, commercial discourse, friendly discourse, whatever kind of discourse, in all walks of life. Okay, it also studies what we call routine or casual conversations. Yes, these routine conversations that we carry out on a daily basis. Yeah. And it has become an established analytical method because of its importance, of its usefulness, as we have explained. It has become established. Okay, analytical method. طريقة تحليل معتمدة. An established analytical method in sociology, anthropology, linguistics, speech communication, and psychology. CA. And even in forensic linguistics, من لغة المحاكم في علم الجريمة and so on, yes, in criminology. Yeah, this is of high use. When you have some sort of phone calls, for example, okay, or some audios, and you want to explain them, or you want to take data or evidence from those audios or phone calls, whatever audios in general, to give evidence and proof in a crime, I mean, setting, if you want to say, who is to blame, or who is not to blame, who is the criminal, who is the perpetrator of the crime, and so on and so forth. So CA using these, very, yes, very good, yes. George Floyd's case, yeah, the guy who was killed, by the police, yeah. So they took the audio. It was explained in the course using this kind of analysis, and it brought to what extent he was really that the police who killed him, actually were kind of accused, actually, or the meant, okay, to put end to his life the way they did. So CA is of high importance, not only, of course, for courts, settings, and for other settings, for daily life settings, and in other fields of study. When we study sociology, when we study anthropology, they are very big fields. So CA is of high use in this sense. Is that clear?
Yes, Professor.
Okay. So besides that, okay, so we talk about turn taking and turn allocation. Yes. Turn taking and turn allocation. Turn taking is a basic feature, an essential feature, okay, or normal human conversation. Okay. A basic feature of normal human conversation. Broadly meaning people do not converse or talk in a disorderly manner. As I said before, with Chris of 2003, it explained the difference between discourse in its stereotypical image and discourse in its realistic or real image. So people do not, converse, okay, broadly speaking, in a kind of disorderly manner, but somewhat in an orderly manner. Hence the idea of orderliness. Okay? So humans are supposed to speak in terms. That's the idea. We are supposed to speak in terms. Okay? That is, person one speaks and person two takes over after person one finishes their first turn. And thus it goes till person one and person two's conversation is over. So you have person one speaks, says something, and then person two takes over. Okay? Takes his turn or her turn to speak. Okay, again. Takes over after person one is done, okay, with his turn, okay. And thus it goes. It goes like between person one and person two, maybe person three, person four, until they are finished with until they finish. The conversation. That is turn taking. Turn taking. Yeah. So turn taking therefore subsumes our awareness of the conversational clues, okay, or signs, to say, indicating when our turn to speak is due. Yes. Yeah. When, like, someone starts to say something, when he is about to finish, or they are about to finish, you feel like there is some sense of falling tone. Yeah. Like, I'm finishing. So if anyone wants to take over and says what he wants to say, then please, the turn is yours. Of course, we don't say, go ahead, the turn is yours, see what you have, you finish, it's my turn. We don't say this, but we do it naturally, normally. And we indicate it in this kind of maybe rising tone or falling tone. When I rise my tone sometimes, it's like, stop, I still have something to say, or let me say more, for example. But maybe a falling tone may indicate or signify that I am about to finish. So if you've got something to say, prepare yourself, and the floor is yours. Yeah, that is the idea. So we have this kind of, it subsumes an awareness in us, okay, a kind of natural, maybe unconscious awareness in us through some clues, okay, signs, okay, as I explained. Of course, it can happen by even using some facial expressions, like you are about to finish a message, okay, to say what you've about to finish what you've got to say. Maybe you can give a nod, a head nod to your listener, or maybe you just some eye winks, maybe like, okay, go ahead, I'm done, for example. But of course, you don't go ahead. You just, use some facial expression or some gestures. Okay, like go ahead. Sometimes we say them. Okay, I am done. Okay, go ahead and say what you have to say. Okay, maybe in certain specific context. So it is a kind of naturally occurring role play. You know, of course, role play. So this conversation is like kind of role play. Yeah, one like on a stage. Okay, theatrical stage. Okay, you have different actors and actresses. Okay, and every actor says, what he has to say. And once he is done, the other actor takes over, and so on and so forth. Okay, so the act is done, is finished. So where speakers and listeners change and alternate the conversation roles, okay, in order to begin and end the communication acts. Yeah. So turn-taking patterns are liable to differ. Yeah, they are liable to differ. They can differ, okay? Or they are supposed to differ, or assumed to differ, okay? From one culture, language to another in speaking specific cases. As I said, the effects of culture, this tripartite relationship between culture, language, and discourse or communication, it's there. So these facial expressions or the paralinguistic or the prosodic features differ in manifestation and in execution from one culture to another. Of course, there might be, of course, similarities, but still there are also differences. Yeah. If you watch, watch American movies and watch French movies, watch Japanese movies, or watch Chinese movies, watch Indian movies, watch Egyptian movies, watch Moroccan movies, and you can take, you can see it quite clearly how this gets manifest in regions. Yeah. Of taking turns or turn taking and turn allocation. Is that clear?
Yes.
Nice. Any questions, or shall I go on? Continue. No questions? Okay. So different important roles. This is now we've got to something essential that you should pay attention to. Okay, focus. Okay. So different important rules governing turn taking in the discourse have been specified. Okay, of course by specialists in the field. Okay. So what we call turn eliciting signals, to elicit. Okay, to take. Okay. Turn eliciting signals. Here we have what we call first turn construction unit, or a TCU. TCU, turn construction unit. This means a fundamental unit or fundamental segment, okay, of discourse in a conversation. And it stands for the different pieces making up a conversation, and may have the length of an entire turn. Yes. So this ECU, or this turn construction unit, okay, it's a fundamental segment, okay, of a discourse in a conversation. It means the pieces, okay, that a speaker uses to pick up, okay, a conversation, and may have the length of an entire turn. Yes. The second one is called a transition relevance place. Transition relevance place, or a TRP. TCU, TRP. It is the point or a point in speech which marks the first speaker is about to make another TCU. Yes. The point in speech which tells us or shows us, okay, or indicates to us the end of a TCU and declares that the end of a term, if you want to say. Okay? Thus the turn moves to another speaker. Or the first speaker is about to make another TCU. Yes. Eventually, it's a point where you declare or you show to the listener that you are about to finish your TCU, your unit, your term. And it means, okay, you can take over, go ahead and speak. Or you want to say, I am about to finish my first term and I am going to add, okay? I mean to continue speaking, talking. So TRP is either to indicate the end of a TCU or to indicate the end of TCU and the beginning of a new TCU. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, Professor.
Okay, nice.
Professor,
Yes, yes.
I just would like you to explain the first point more concerning this first point that says take construction unit.
Yeah, I mean this construction unit, it's the segment, a segment or a unit or of a term that make up a term, that make up the message that one says to somebody else. Yeah. It can send them like you've got a message to say to someone, okay, I am happy today, I'm going outdoors with friends, for example. Okay. That is a term construction unit. Okay, it's a fundamental segment, the whole entire term, for example. Okay. So it is turn that is the it's your turn to say something, and construction that is you construct the message in this turn, okay, and then you share it with someone. This message that you construct in your turn, you want to say something, okay, it becomes one unit, واحدة. 1 unit. Okay. So if you want to analyze a dialogue, then you can cut it up, okay, into term construction units, okay, or transition relevance places. Like say, there's a dialogue that has two people speaking. Say they said, I don't know, like that I give you just earlier. Actually, have 7 or exchanges. Okay. CEM, I mean. The person 1, person 2, person 1, person 2, person 1, person 2, person 1 example. Okay. So what person 1 says the first time is a TCU. Okay. Fine. And what person 2 says in turn, his turn or in her turn, is also a TCU. Is a message that he constructed, or she constructed, and delivered in her turn, okay, to the receiver. So that's why it says the different pieces, different words, and I don't know, in tones or pitches or stress, okay, the words that you put together, okay, to make up a conversation, okay, for an entire term, and then you share it with the listener. Is that clear?
Yes, Professor. Thank you.
Okay. So the TRP is the point that we use, okay, to indicate that we are about to finish our turn and the floor is for somebody else, okay, to take over. Or we use it to say that I am about to finish my first turn, okay, I still have something to say, so no one else should interfere or interrupt me. You have to wait more until I finish my second turn or my second TC, we'll say. Okay? The role of TRP is just to point to this. If you are done, or you're going to add one more, then or take, say something more. Is that clear?
Yes, Professor, it's clear.
So turns occur only in TRPs. Turns in TRPs, yes, where which are the structural completion points, words, phrases, clauses, or sentences. Okay, in a given conversation or discourse. So the terms that we make in conversations, right, they occur in TRPs, in transition relevance place. Yeah, like transition from one to another term. And this transition is relevant. That like, yeah, since I finished my what I want to say, okay, so now it's up to somebody else to take over and says what he or she has to say. And so I do that in a specific place, in the right place, yeah. Like place where I'm done with my first turn or second turn. That's why saying turns occur only in TRPs, which are the structure completion of points of words, phrases, or clauses, or sentences. The third thing is also called the dominant referring tone. Dominant referring tone. This means a speaker, me, you, anyone, using the tone, okay, a rising tone rather than a full rise tone, while ending a TCU, turn construction unit, to continue their, turn and affirm their status as a dominant speaker, indicate that they do not expect to be interrupted. As I suggested earlier, actually, you are talking, person one is saying something to person two, okay, and this person one is maybe thinks of that he has a lot to say, and what he says is right and correct, maybe, and matters or important, okay, and that he is got the I don't know the right to speak as long as he thinks is right. So he indicates this into tone by using his tone. A rising tone, okay. Not a full rise, not a full falling tone, while ending at TCU. When about to finish one message, he raises his tone as though like, hey, no one should interfere, yet I still have to say. So keep listening. Okay? So that's why it's kind of dominance. Okay? Dominance referring indicate that they do not expect to be interrupted. There are some people who have this actually. When they talk, they don't want to be interrupted. And they think they've got all the knowledge of the world to say, while others have got to keep listening. So they have it all. So they start speaking. And whenever they say someone wants to interfere or take over and wants to say something, they rise their tone. Like, hey, stop. Don't interfere. Don't stop me. Don't interrupt me. Let me speak until I'm done, or until I feel like I'm done. Okay? So this tone that is used to keep, by one to keep speaking and others keep listening, we call it the dominant referring tone. Okay? So these are deep and specific, concrete levels of analysis in what we call CA analysis. Of course, that we can adopt and use to analyzing discourse, especially spoken discourse, be it in real natural context or be it in media-mediated context. Can I move on? It's okay?
Yes, Professor.
Okay, nice. Fine. Now we move to something, what we call agency pairs. Okay, agency pairs. An agency pair is a unit or a sentence, okay, of turns, okay, that are related to each other to create meaningful utterances. To create meaningful utterances. Okay, so we have lots of examples. You have them in this charts in the slide. Yeah, we have agents. We have many types of agency pairs. Okay, we have agency pair type, and we have the instances, okay? Examples, we'll say. For example, a question-answer pair. Question-answer pair. For example, when will you be home? At 5 o'clock. Okay? At 5 o'clock. So it's an agency pair type of question-answer. Okay? When will you be home? Answer at 5 o'clock. We have to call greeting pair. Okay? Good morning, John. Good morning, Lucy, for example. That's why they create meaningful utterances. Some say, when we say, when will you be home? You find, good morning, Lucy. You don't create meaningful utterance. Or good morning, John. And you say, at 5 o'clock. So they are not correlating to create meaningful utterances. We have what's called request acceptance or request rejection agency pair. For example, can I use your pen for 1 minute? Yes, please have it. Or can I use your pen for 1 minute? I'm sorry, it's the only one I have. Means you can't use it. So it's a request acceptance or a request rejection agency pair. Again, for inform and acknowledgement. You inform someone, and the other one, does someone acknowledges, does information. Like I say, you have to see your advisor before he leaves. Okay, I agree. Yes, you are right. I have to see him before he leaves. And we have another pair called apology acceptance or apology rejection agency pair. For example, I have someone, I'm sorry, I missed our appointment. I missed our appointment. And you have the acceptance, no worries. It's okay, no problem. Or, I'm sorry, I missed our appointment. And you have the listener as rejecting this apology, saying, you just kept me waiting long for nothing. Like, I don't accept your apologies. You're wasting my time. And you have congratulations and thanks. Like congratulations on your wedding, for example. Oh, thanks. So all these pairs, they relate to each other to create meaningful utterances. We can get back to this in pragmatics to some extent. When we talk about greetings and warnings and complaints and so on and so forth. Okay. Is that clear?
Yes, Professor.
Okay, nice. Okay, one question actually. Students who are attending today, you belong to groups 3, 4, 5, and 6. Huh?
Yes, Professor.
Thank you. So all the 4 groups received my email today in my for lecture yesterday. Not only 4 groups.
Yes, Professor.
Good. Thank you. Do you after the after?
Yes, Professor.
You have class now. Okay. When exactly?
With Professor Boy.
When? What time?
At 3.
At 3.
At 3.
At 3. Okay. Okay. So you still have time, huh? Fine. Okay. Let's add.
Professor.
Yes.
Professor, did you say that you sent an email yesterday?
No, this morning. No.
I'm sorry.
No, this morning. Not this morning. Yeah, yesterday for lecture thing. Yeah,
Our class would take place at 2 o'clock, not at 3.
At 2
Some
o'clock.
people
Okay.
said that we would. At 2.
Normally, we have it postponed. Ambassador said that we will start at 3. It was postponed.
Okay. So can we add some 10 more minutes, or you've got to leave now?
Okay, Professor. We can.
Okay, Professor.
Add more.
Okay. So another level is called insertion sequences. Insertion sequences. By this, we mean simply a turn or a sequence of turns, okay, that intervenes between the first and second terms of an adjacency pair. Yeah. In other words, it marks a kind of disruption. Like you say, someone says something, okay, and while for the second person to reply, someone else interferes in between and says something else. It's a kind of interruption, a kind of disruption. Like you insert a sequence that disrupts the first turn and the second turn. We call it insertion sequence. Okay, so it marks a kind of disruption or delay, since instead of a normally expected response, an unexpected different one is produced, especially as conversations usually occur in pairs, yeah, as I've explained in the previous slide. I mean, answer, question, greeting, inform, acknowledgement, and so on and so forth. Okay, especially as in pairs, as exemplified in the previous table. Okay, for instance, when you are traveling back to Casablanca, person one is speaking. A is speaking. When are you traveling back to Casablanca? B says, why are you asking? A says, I would like to send with you a small package to my son, for example. B says, okay, I'm going there tomorrow. So the first B, that is, why are you asking, is an insertion sequence, unexpected response. Yeah, when A asks B, when are you traveling back to Casablanca, he did not expect that B would say, why are you asking? But he did expect maybe that he would say, for example, well, I'm going tomorrow. So B, the first B and second A, both of them are kind of insertion sequence. The first B, I mean, when are you, why are you asking, is an insertion sequence because it is an unexpected response. And the second E, I would like to send with you a package to my son, okay, it's an answer to an expected question, forming an adjacent pair. Yeah. So first B and second A is a kind of an insertion sequence, yeah, as an unexpected response. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Professor.
Okay. Now, error and repair mechanisms. Another level of CA, or conversation analysis. Error and repair mechanisms. This means the means or the ways to correct and or repair or fix, okay, the errors we make when we have a conversation. Of course, when we converse, we make mistakes sometimes, if not quite often. So we don't always say what we want to as correctly as we desire to. We make mistakes sometimes. Maybe unconscious mistakes. Maybe it depends on the context. That's why when we fail to do so, we find alternative ways of saying them. Yeah. When you realize that you've made a mistake in your first turn, or maybe you've made a false start, okay, you try to kind of find an alternative way how to say what you've maybe done wrongly before. This is called error repair. It is how to repair, how to fix errors that we make, okay, when we speak. Another one is overlap in speeches. Overlap in speech. When two or more interacts speak at the same time. They have a speech overlap. They don't take turns. Person one is speaking, person two is speaking. So they are speaking at the same time. They interact. Yeah. So the overlap. Yeah. So as I say, a overlap occurs when two start the turns simultaneously. None of them cedes or gives their turn to the other. Everyone like kind of insists to speak at that very moment, at that very space. Yeah, no one of this person one, person two, like kind of say takes time to and wait till the other guy, is done. But both of them try to speak at the same time. So when we do, it's called overlap or speech overlap, and this happens among Moroccans and maybe Africans and many other, a lot. So these levels of analysis are important because they explain to us first what is this analysis, what is CA, and how we carry out CA. Okay, according to all the levels, overlapping speech, repair, and then agency pairs, exception sequences, and all these things. And this is why we call CA is an approach to discourse analysis, especially spoken discourse. Yeah. And this, by implication, shows to us, okay, what happens to us and to our conversations, or what we do and how we manage conversations, how we go about them, how we manage them, how we lead them, and so forth. So, and also they teach us how we can make of our spoken discourses or conversations better ones, okay, effective ones, okay, more efficient ones, more relevant ones, okay, in terms of quality, in terms of quantity, in terms of relevance, in terms of manner, in terms of efficiency, in terms of mastery, in terms of efficiency, also in terms of accuracy, in terms of fluency. In all these terms. Okay, I think I stop here today. Actually because just it's so 10 minutes actually are over. So if you have any questions, go ahead. If no questions, so we meet inshallah next time. Of course, if no Eid is if Eid Mabruk Eid, if no Eid, then we have of course another session. Any questions?
No, Professor.
Okay. Thank you all. Okay, so but today, okay. So yes, please.
Thank you, Professor.
Okay, thank you. See you inshallah next time. Okay. Have a good day and Ramadan Kareem to you.
Thank you, Professor.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Professor.
Professor.